Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me, Johnny. I haven't made a video in a while, and I got a comment from one of the viewers about how some of the information in my videos is outdated. I just wanted to point out that I think it was in 2018 or 2019, Guatemala changed the immigration rules, and it's much, much more difficult to immigrate there and get permanent residency. Now you have to have a lot more documents, an FBI background check. Also, too, you have to have verifiable income, things like that. So in the older videos, you didn't have to have all that. You could just get a regular police background check, and you could also too just get. You didn't have to have any income verification. So just for viewers who see my old videos, that's true. It's very difficult. And I just want to make another point. Just earlier today, I was on Facebook, and just I don't go on Facebook that much anymore, but I was on Facebook, and there were some retirees looking and seeing about getting residency, and they were noticing it's much more difficult to get residency. And in their case, they have a unique case where they'd have to go back every year, get verified income. I'm not sure why they'd have to verify in the United States and go back every year, but every year with these new rules, you have to verify your income. In addition to that, there's a lot more new fees you have to pay, which I don't really mind. I don't think they really amount to much, but other people are complaining about it. But the part where you have to verify your income every year, and in some cases, some Americans have to go back to the states to do that process. They don't like it. So just a heads up, it's not easy to get a permanent residency anymore in Guatemala. I would add another point I saw on Facebook. The reason I'm bringing up Facebook is because people are complaining about how difficult it is to get residency in Guatemala now. Well, another thing is many countries in Central and South America are making it more difficult. Not all, just many. And they're charging more fees. They're saying, well, they're not saying why, but they're charging higher fees in some cases because they're probably paying for all this coronavirus stuff. Or they're just charging more fees just because they're just going to charge more fees because it's gringos. I don't really know. What I will say is that in general, it's a generalization that's true. By that I mean they're making it harder and more expensive to legally immigrate and get permanent residency. And on that note, I would just say South America, there's still places you can immigrate to in South America and get permanent residency. You get a passport relatively fast, and that one country is Brazil. Another country is Peru, but it's a little more difficult. It's a little bit more difficult to go the education route because right now with Corona, the schools that I suggested in the past have closed. You can't go to school there. Since you can't go to school there, you can't get the education visa. I haven't said that you can still do that in Brazil and other countries. I'm just pointing out in Brazil, there's private institutes you can go to for the length that you need to live there to actually become a citizen. I'd also point out there's public schools there that public universities that many people aren't aware of that they're free and you can get a visa, but the school won't really help you that much because it's not they're not incentivized to help you get a visa because it's all free and all that. So you'd have to do all that footwork. It's kind of like in Peru. But having said that, if you go to the private schools that are accredited, that are on the government list, they will help you. And then you got to pay your tuition, and then you got to actually study and do the course you're doing for the length of time it would take you to get a passport in, say, Brazil. And that's just one way. There are many, many ways. One of is having a child born there. The child doesn't have to even be born there with a Brazilian mom. It just can be a foreigner, a lady just going in there and have a child. That's how quite a few other people do that. Anyhow, another viewer was asking about Honduras. Now, I'm not against Honduras. I like Honduras, but Honduras has been through a lot of not just coronavirus, but it's been through in the quarantine, but it's also been through a lot of natural disasters recently. And the big cities weren't the best places to live even before all that. So I'm not against Honduras, but in Honduras, you got a lot more crime. And with coronavirus and these natural disasters, I personally wouldn't live in a big city. And a lot of times I'm talking about getting residency with the point of getting a passport. So you got to put some time in these places. And I just don't feel like Honduras is as safe as, say, Guatemala. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. And if you were going to get residency there, there's a small town. It's in Coban or Copan. Copan. It's kind of really close to the border of Guatemala. If you go to Chiquimula, and then it's just a little ways from Chiquimula, and then you just cross the border. Anyways, that's a really beautiful small town. So like if I was going to live there, I would just live in Copan. And since I have residency in Central America, I can just use my ID, cross into Copan, and just stay there if I wanted to. But anyways, as far as living there and getting a passport, I'm not really sure if it's worth it. It's just not worth it to me, probably. And further news, things are okay in Central America and Guatemala. I was in Mexico. When I went into southern Mexico, it's interesting if you travel there because you probably get stopped at least 2 times before you leave Guatemala on the bus, asking to check your documents. Once you get into southern Mexico, they'll ask you another 2 times. And then in northern Mexico, I got asked 2 times, but they didn't really care to see my passport. Funny story. I was in the Osho in Mexico, and I was buying beer, and the girl carded me. As it happens, I left my passport in the hotel, so I just gave her my national residency card from Guatemala. She kind of got pissed off at me, but she sold me the beer. But um, I don't think she's expecting the gringo to hand over Guatemalan ID. But it's kind of funny. But that's my first time in Mexico where I actually got carded for buying beer in an Osho. So I don't know how new that will be for other people, but it's not a big deal. But I'm not used to getting carded to buy beer in Mexico. Anyways, I'm going to put this up there for viewers if they want to check out. There's not much going on in Central America now. The world's, in my opinion, still a little bit of chaos from the lockdowns. And now with Delta virus, a lot of countries are relocking down parts of countries. It's still not easy to travel, so I don't know what to tell people. Do the best you can for wherever you want to live. But things are pretty peaceful in Guatemala and Chile. So anyhow, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you.